Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for Orange versus DK. Game 2, Orange leading the best of 3, 1-0. Winner of this series will be your first place team in Group B. They'll be seeded directly into the round of 4. DK are down, but they're not out of the fight just yet. I'm LD, he's Lumi, and the draft now underway.
Yeah, and once again, we're going to see Obsidian Destroyer being banned out, as well as Alchemist and Treant Protector coming out from the Orange eSports. But the bigger thing for me is, seems like they have caught on Ohio Windrunner getting banned out, and more importantly, Visage getting first picked up by DK.
Wow. This Treant ban. What's going on here?
I have no freaking clue. Is DK playing Treant?
I've never seen DK pick the hero. The hero is not winning much in Asian Dota. He's not even winning that much in Western Dota, as far as I know, unless you're DD Dota.
Right. This feels like one of those like bans with hatred. It's like, God damn it.
Maybe they
don't want to play against Tree.
Maybe there's a specific strategy in mind, some sort of early aggression where the living armor is really strongest here, or even some sort of early push strategy for RNG eSports. So I wonder what they have up their sleeve. Well, they'll start with Batrider, which doesn't really mean a whole lot, but a pretty safe standard opening for them. I do want to point out the last time that they played Batrider was with Mushi on the solo mid bat, and as dominant of a mid player as Mushi often is, his bat was not the strongest.
Yeah, I think that was more credit to LGD, was it?
It was LGDN?
Yes, LGDN. And for those of you guys that didn't catch the match, it was a fairly early Blink Dagger, like 9.5 minutes, but he wasn't able to find too many ganks. And that was just really great map awareness. Whenever Bat was off the map, the rest of LGD was also off the map. He wasn't able to find too many ganks, but at the same time, he was also limiting the farm coming out from LGD. So in terms of in-game impact, in terms of kills and harassment, he wasn't able to do too much, but we'll see how well he's going to be playing today. I imagine that's going to be a solo mid-bats.
And Orange also going to go here for the Nyx Assassin. I feel this is almost as much just to protect the Batrider as it is to actually get a Nyx on your team. So obviously Spike Harp is one of the most annoying, if not the most annoying spells against Batrider. And they'll take the Nyx now, and it looks like a support Nyx probably could go solo mid, but again, I feel like the solo mid Nyx is just very hit or miss, just because he wants to gank a lot. It's very obvious when he's off the map.
Yeah, at the same time, he gives you a ton of kind of burst damage output, which, depending on what carries that DK is going to go for, it might be, for example, if you go for Luna against a Nyx Assassin.
That's painful.
Yeah, a solo mid Nyx Assassin could kill you or burst you down.
I feel this is where you want heroes more like the DK, I mean...
Spectre.
There you go,
there
tanky
you go.
carry.
Yeah, we were seeing heroes like Kunkka and Spectre very early being picked up during the Eastern qualifier from LGD China, and I think DK, if they want to go for a similar route, they could do so as well. I think this is a game where you pick up a Shadow Demon though, because I feel Shadow Demon protects you very nicely against Batriders, and more importantly, Shadow Demon matches up against Spectre very well.
Yeah, let's see if they go for that Shadow Demon. We'll have another set of bans now for RNG eSports. They'll start with a Darkseer ban. And a very... we've seen the power of that Darkseer Spectre combo. You give him an Ion Shell early. Even if he has no farm, he still has plenty of damage between Ion Shell and Desolate. So I like this. And then also the other thing is you want to stay together against Spectre, but you don't want to stay together against Darkseer. So there's that aspect of synergy, which AUI talked about when he's back here during the International 3 Eastern Qualifier. Speaking of AUI, shout out to him and shout out to DreamHack is getting underway already. So be sure to check those streams out, guys. I believe the GD Studio streaming out over at /DreamHack Dota on Twitch TV. And I know Toby and a few others are doing streams as well. But we're still here in the Dota 2 Super League and delighted, of course, to have you all with us here today.
This is where the real Dota is at. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm
this is where the good shit is at.
No, I'm also extending
kidding.
a shout out to the North American teams. Hoping that Dignitas as well as Team Liquid gonna have a good showing there.
Yeah, we'll see. For Team Liquid, they've been in a bit of a slump lately.
Yeah, they have been, but hopefully they're gonna be somewhat re-energized. I mean, going to a big LAN event in G1 LAN final in China is a ton of experience gained, right? It's just in terms of what you can do.
Absolutely. So, second set of bans now underway for DK. They'll ban out the Lone Druid here, which KYXY has been, I would say, one of the most impressive Lone Druid players as of late. Not as flashy as a Bulldog or Sylar, but just a very solid, stable player. I've been singing his praises for a while now. I'll try not to overdo it here, but obviously he's a strong choice when you already have Bat, because Bat makes it very hard to defend your tower simply because of Firefly, the Blink Dagger, the ability to just grab someone and pick them off, and well, they'll get rid of one of KYXY's strongest heroes. They'll also ban out the Chen for Extinct, and I gotta say, this game in particular, I am liking DK's bans, especially in the second stage, quite a lot.
Yeah, these bans are very well targeted to Orange Esports. They definitely did their homework. I think I'm more impressed still with the Windrunner first phase ban because it's a hero that
I like
always
that.
get. Like it's a hero that nobody picks.
I love that ban as well. There is a Sandkin in the pool for Orange, but when they already have Nyx likely to support, they're unlikely to go for it. So I think these are pretty much ideal bans for them. And will it be enough against Orange Esports? It often feels like I do feel if Orange played the way they did in Game 1 against DK, and DK had Spectre, and the game had progressed similarly up until that point, DK would have won because they would have had Spectre late game. But
well, it depends if they will take a tier 2 bot fight without buyback.
That's true.
Against Aegis.
But when you have Spectre, it's much easier to take those fights and buy back and come out on top.
Yeah.
So DK buy themselves some late game insurance. Normally, that's how this team has won. Historically, is sure they can win early against lesser teams, but again in the big games, they'll take it late, they'll grind you out, and they'll just eventually get Burning so fat he can't fail.
This is a fairly aggressive turn of drafting coming out from Orange Esports. They go with Nyx Assassin and Lina, two supports that are so powerful, 15-20 minutes in the game with their burst damage, but at the same time, they're absolutely food a little bit later on for the Spectre. So I imagine because of these heroes so far, Burning is going to be forced to going into something like a Treads, Bracer, Vid Booster. That's a ton of HP, and now Lifestealer's on top, so Spectre's going to have a tough time surviving early on, but at the same time, after a certain time, I think if the game goes evenly, or if DK's down behind 6,000 gold, they should be actually okay.
Somewhere down under, if gods were dead, he'd be rolling over in his grave right now. Lifestealer picked up as the 4th pick after 4 bans for both teams.
Hero's not that good.
Hero's not that good, you say. We saw that wasn't the case when there's a Storm Lifestealer combination available.
Sure.
Now there's a Lifestealer bat combo, pretty good. Nyx Lifestealer, pretty good. Maybe not quite as good as Storm. I still think he's the ideal vehicle, but it could be enough this game. And I also do want to mention Clockwork not as good versus Lifestealer anymore because the cogs no longer knock you back when you're raged.
Yeah, they still, I mean, the actual physical cogs still would, kind of block
you, yeah.
So
it's still a barrier.
That's so good. And I guess that was a little bit maybe too strong when I say that hero's not that good. Obviously,
that's
Korok,
just you pandering to the crowd here for some Lumi shoutouts in chat.
I mean, Korok says the hero is still very imbalanced. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but he's still very a powerful hero, and seeing him picked up 4th maybe is.
I think it's just he needs the right supporting cast, right? Whereas
Yes,
before he's always good. This time around,
like for example, he doesn't actually combine well with Lina. Before you have a 600 range, and then Lina easily follows up. Now, who actually initiates? Nyx Assassin is the only initiator.
They have bat.
Well, I mean, talking about like the laning phase.
In the laning phase, yeah.
Yeah, so
I think for Orange, they don't really care about getting kills in the laning phase. For them, I look at this team, and it's one of those lineups like around 10 to 20 minute mark. That's where they really want to make hay.
They generally do win the laning phase, just off like great individual play and whatnot.
True.
So
For DK here, what do you think for DK for the last pick? They've got the Clockwork, probably I would reckon an ROTK offlane Clock and probably a safe lane tri-lane Spectre. And then they would need a solo mid. Do you agree with that, or how do you think they're going to play this?
Yeah, I think, for example, if the Batrider was not here, I would say DK is going to pick up Dragon Knight as a solo mid. They need another fairly tanky frontline hero that could kind of do well in the mid game and basically shore themselves up to set themselves up for an ultra late game Spectre carry. But now with the Batrider on the map, your selection of mid heroes diminishes quite rapidly because Dragon Knight's going to get all mid. Alchemist, to a certain extent, is going to get owned. He's banned out. So, yeah, I don't know what DK is going to pick into here, but I feel like a hero that needs to be able to defend against pushes quite well. That's fairly tanky / difficult to kill. I have no clue what they're going to pick.
I just want to mention this because it occurs to me now that we haven't been seeing Wisp get picked or banned at all in the Eastern scene. There was a period where it's just auto-banned, but it's
like
ignored right now.
I mean, LGN was actually banning the Wisp yesterday when they were playing, but...
Yeah, very, very odd, though, to see anyone ban it right now, which is kind of strange, because Wisp is still... The orbs got nerfed a little bit, but they're still a very strong hero overall. So that's neither here nor there. Orange will go with what works for them, which is the safe lane Gyro. Probably an aggressive tri-lane Lifestealer. Guess it could be an off-lane Lifestealer and a safe lane tri-lane Gyro, and a bat mid. Those look to be the lanes for Orange. A lot of burst, a lot of late game, some good initiation. Their team fight isn't overwhelming, but it's decent. They have Bat and Nyx to initiate. If they get the jump, they can easily find pickoffs. But in a 5v5 clash ultra late game, I'd say probably DK have the better set of abilities to take that.
At the same time, Spectre is not a BKB hero, and Orange Esports is working on some very short range or short cooldown stun like the LSA, the Impale, as well as some very kind of short cooldown disable like the max open wounds and the max rocket homing rocket from Gyro. So if Spectre don't have buyback in these teamfights, the late game teamfights, she's going to have trouble keeping up.
The Dragon Knight for Super. He'll take that, his talent solo mid, so it will be the off-lane Clockwork almost certainly for RTK. Safe lane, defensive tri-lane Spectre, of course, for Burning. And, well, Burning, how much work could he do here in the mid game? Because you look at that off lane, RTK is not going to be able to stop a Lifestealer from farming. Orange should be able to do a lot of pulling and stacking here. And the mid lane, that's the one area where I think Orange could crush that lane.
Yeah.
Batrider mid versus a DK with the nerfs to Bottle Crow. Like you mentioned, that could be the very troublesome matchup here for Team DK.
That's why I don't think they should have picked the Dragon Knight, but it's going to be... Mushi's going to stomp so hard in that mid lane, it's not even funny.
Well, he certainly should with this kind of a matchup. And we'll introduce the players now for RNG Sports. They're your Radiant contenders. They are, of course, leading the best of 3, 1-0. Winner of this series will be first place in Group B. Who's it going to be? If it's up to Mushi, if it's up to the M-God, it'll be his squad. He's playing the bat. He's heading towards the top lane. Joining him will be Extinct on the Lina. KYXY, the silent star for this team, playing the Gyrocopter. Net, the very outspoken star, at least with his play last game. Some amazing Sand King play. Of course, Ohio could be handling the Lifestealer. For RNG Sports, they're looking pretty good, but of course, it's a best of 3. Anything can happen.
Yeah, MMY is going to scout out ahead. He's going to be very careful about
scared.
where he treads. He's going to be handling the Rubik. In my opinion, one of the best Rubik players in China.
Oh,
He's
this is not looking good for
really
Dai.
close. He's going to get... there's going to be open wounds. There's going to be LSA, and MMY going to give up that first blood. He lifts. He tosses.
He does get the 4 hero stun, but too late.
Yeah. So that was a freebie that he doesn't need to give away, and that's quicker level 2 here for the Radiant.
And it goes to Ohio, which means he can start with boots almost right now. And as an off-lane Lifestealer with boots, I guess the one concern is he doesn't have rage, but you're up against a Spectre tri-lane. They're not that dominant anyway. He could easily just sit in this lane, and the supports can roam. I almost feel they could just leave him off-lane, and he'll still get something out of the lane. Spectre, Visage, Rubik isn't really that dominant of a tri-lane, not without quite a few levels.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to farm, but let's quickly introduce the rest of the DK players. Burning's going to be playing the Spectre. We have QQQ playing Visage. We do have MMY, who did unfortunately give up the first blood. Back in the mid lane is going to be Super playing Dragon Knight, and last but not least, RTK handling the Clockwork. So I don't think even this is going to be an offlane offlane Lifestealer that what we saw of LG yesterday. It's just going to be an offensive tri-lane Lifestealer. Something that we've seen quite a bit in the past.
That certainly works for Orange. They are very solid in the execution of their tri-lanes. And then we look towards the other 2 lanes. Obviously, they should have the edge here with the Lifestealer tri-lane and the First Blood tri-lane all going their way. But the other 2 matchups, we talked a lot about the Bat DK. The last lane we haven't really discussed is going to be that safe lane Gyro against off lane Clock. I look at these lanes, Lumi, and in theory, Orange, I think, should win all 3 lanes, especially with the First Blood top.
Yeah, I mean, Clockwork could actually beat a Gyrocopter, but it's actually very, very difficult to do so. You have to cogs just right, push him back and forth, drain his mana, and then go for a kill with Battery Assault. But if you make a single mistake, for example, if you unfortunately cog him with you inside a cog, you're dying to that Rocket Barrage. So I don't expect ROTK to win that lane. It's just very tough for him to do so.
And it's a safe lane Gyro as well, so he can abuse the pull to a certain extent. He'll have a little bit of a more difficult lane for them to gank him at as well. And DK, the other thing is they can't gank the Gyro. So you get Orange by running this aggressive tri-lane, they get a Spectre. They slow down the Spectre's farm to some extent, although Burning is currently our lead farmer. Another team doing particularly well at the creep stats so far, but they get a safe lane Gyro who should have close to free farm, and they're not committing a lot to do it. It's a 1v1. That's really the beauty of the pick.
Yep. Back to this tri-lane top, I think DK should be okay unless they misplay again. I think that was a very big freebie they gave away to Orange Esports. You got to keep in mind, in this offensive tri-lane, their only really solid initiation is coming out from the Nyx Assassin because nobody else has a really solid initiation. LSA would miss a lot of times. Open Wounds has 200 cast range at level 1, so they got a first kill because of MMY being somewhat out of position. Now they could just sit back and sit pretty and trade farm.
And this is, once again, going to be Orange, where I guess it's a little bit more of a killing tri-lane, but really this is just to slow down the Spectre, because they're running the safe lane Gyro, they're running the bat mid. 12-2 already on Mushi's bat. He is dominating mid. 4 CS ahead, but also controlling the runes. He'll have his boots coming soon, and top lane, we'll see DK trying to disrupt the pulling here of RNG Sports, unable to do so for the time being. And I just feel like Mushi, he gets a fast level 6 here with this early level advantage he has, and Super falling a tiny bit behind. Could maybe find a kill here or just gank that tri-lane and blow it up.
Yeah.
And they're going in now. They're going to go in on Burning. Open wants to start, but the lift throws net back. Doesn't matter. Lightstrike is going to connect Burning. He's run away from his tower, far away from safety. He'll go into the trees. He wants a way out. He can't find it. He's going to get picked off. And now Ohio working for another kill. A secondary stun. Catches out QQQ. not quite enough follow-up to find the additional kill, but aggressive tri-lane that's killing Spectre, that's definitely a one tri-lane.
Snowball. I mean, if Ohio did not have that boost because of the first blood, he would not have gotten that second kill. So it's definitely a huge victory right now here for Orange Esports. And Burning dying is not exactly the worst thing ever, obviously, but like that's your one row carry.
Yeah, that's your one roll carry, and it's not like you're dominating the other two lanes. That bottom lane, 15 and 4 for KYXY, and it's a gyro getting farm. That's going to be more important than a clockwork as the game progresses. Mid game, maybe not so much, but later on, certainly the case. And the mid lane, Super is actually doing really well. I think better than he should be. 17 and 2, but end of the day, Mushi is still winning his lane. He's controlling the runes, and he should be able to have a bigger impact as that solo mid hero. You look at DK, mostly what he can do is push, whereas Bat can gank and push.
I mean, you expect Super to actually have no CS and get complete out denied and out level, and actually.
Yeah, this is just more than you would expect, but he's playing the matchup very well.
Well, I think the breaking point of the lane on the top lane is reach, as Ohio has picked up face boot. So now your two supports could easily smoke gank mid, and Ohio is basically unkillable at this point because he has a single point of rage. All he needs is that single point of rage. You can see that he's actually leveling up open wounds to increase his initiation. They're playing so aggressive up top. They know he's absolutely unkillable with that magic wand.
Net lurking around the tree line here, and Die actually going to go for a pull. Net has not been spotted out. He goes back. He's playing a little bit of a whack-a-mole game here, just hoping for an opening, and well, he'll disrupt this pull to a certain extent. He's going to look to spring the trap. Now he charges in. The open wounds will be there. The phase boots closes the gap. Now a 2-hero impale. No! Net gets thrown back. That's a 2-hero telekinesis stun, but doesn't even matter. The phase boots are there. They jam in the kill. Net may fall, Burning on the chase, but he's diving a long way. Now he's got to commit for this. No, he'll head down the river. He won't find the kill, and both of his supports pay with their lives. An absolute slaughter in the tri-lane, and they're not done yet. Burning on the run. He's going to get open wounds up. Look at the damage. The Ursa even complying and throws a clap in as well. And another kill for Orange. That's a tri-lane wipe. 5-1. Lumi, I know, I have a feeling you might be about to say, is it time to call GG?
It may be time to call GG because Facebook Lifesteal are still very, very good, and Gods is still continue rolling over his grave. He's like, why forfeit, guys? This hero is awesome. This hero is insane, and we're seeing just how powerful he can be. You give him a slight lead, and again, I just hate to harp on one of my favorite players, but Die giving him that first blood, immediate boots, which secured a second kill on Burning. And now he's farming away. Now with FaZe, he's getting every kill that he wants to get in the lane. As
much as he maybe made it... Oh, they might go on Mushi here. They're going to stun him. They'll throw him back into the tower. This is a nice little rotation.
Nice.
The rocket comes in, and they also kill the Bat Rider while he had just popped his double damage rune. And they're going to get the 6-minute rune. It's only one kill, but it's a very, very big one kill at that.
I mean, you're not going to find any kills on the top lane, so might as well rotate mid. But you were talking about perhaps the top lane a little bit?
I mean... I feel like you look at what Orange Esports were able to do there, just parking 5 heroes behind these trees. That's a pretty unorthodox place to look for the gank. Oftentimes, when teams are going for that first blood, they'll smoke, they'll just charge into the tree line, they'll wait over here. So I just felt the positioning there was pretty unusual and is, you know, maybe more credit is due to Orange than sort of saying DK just screwed up. But end of the day, you know, he probably shouldn't be giving up a first blood before the creep spawn.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. RTK is going to teleport up top, level 6, but again, somewhat painfully obvious once the lane is missing. I think that we saw this matchup on the bot lane, KYXY as Lone Druid the other day against a, I think Brax Clockwork or something like that on the safe lane. And as soon as he left, the tower got pushed down by Lone Druid. Unfortunately, as Gyrocopter, you don't have the similar luxury, but it's still very obvious that the gank's coming. You're not going to kill Ohio. Because he has faith.
Yeah, you know, the one thing for Orange is I don't really like this rotation because Mushi doesn't need help. Sure, Dragon Knight's farming, but you're winning your bottom lane. KYXY drove that Clockwork back to base. He's farming freely, and you're shutting down Spectre. So what if you don't kill mid? I don't think DK is going to turn the game around by himself, whereas now, Burning starts to find some farm, so I don't know that this is the best rotation. They could just keep on finding kills top, I feel, but... Well, they'll rotate bottom. They're really just, they're leaving. Like you said, Lifesteal won't die, so it's not like they're going to lose off of this, but I feel they could really just keep on pressing their advantage here in the top lane.
Yeah, Lifesteal's not farming right now, so that's kind of a big thing, and Burning definitely is farming, so.
Speaking of rotations, DK going for a simultaneous gank of their own. RTK's been off this bottom lane forever.
Yeah? I mean...
He rotated mid, he went back to base, and now he's in his own jungle. Leaving that lane empty, he's worried about Orange's supports being off the map. Some good awareness from him, but both teams just kind of dilly-dallying around, wasting quite a bit of time.
Yeah, Mushi was actually even checking the Ancients. Like, is he stacking Ancients or something? Like, he's just not on the map. Now the Rocket will scout Mushi and he backs the hell off.
This is where Mushi's like, really? Really?
Yeah.
I waste all that time going bottom, and then you scout me out, and there won't even be a rune bottom first trouble. It'll be an illusion rune. It'll spawn top, and now Super starts to chip away at the tower here. And again, they're just giving Burning farm when they were 5-1, winning the tri lane. Sure, they lose their bat mid, but that doesn't affect their ability to dominate the tri lane. They do get a tier 1 bottom. Is this the right call, though? I feel, why would you abandon that lane?
I mean,
Even the Lifestealer's off the lane now. Ohio's gone mid. They'll go in again on Super, but there's no Blink Dagger up. Flame Break not going to connect. Beautiful little juke there by Super. I think Orange might be letting DK back in this game. They still lead by experience and gold, but they're giving Spectre breathing room, and that's almost never something you want to do.
yeah, it's a play that Orange doesn't usually make because their mid-game smoke are generally very effective. Like, once they smoke, they either get a kill or a tower, or sometimes even both. And when they make a gank like that, that did absolutely nothing. Yeah, it surprised me greatly as well. It's going to be drums up here on the Lifestealer. So, very, very early phase drums, 9-minute completed, and looks like the 3-man Roman gank party is going back up top to shut down Burning. It looks like even Gyrocopter. Yeah, so this is what I mean. When they roam, they get kills. But this particular Observer Ward scouts them all out here by DK. Great ward placement.
Yeah, nice ward placement by them in Ohio. He'll just go to farm the wave, and for RNG Sports, they do
Mid,
have a...
though.
Oh, mid lane, they're going in now on Mushi. Mushi will get picked off. Blink Dagger delayed and deferred yet again, and will Orange even find the trade? This game, buyback from Mushi.
Wow.
9.5 minutes in. There's still a Spectre Haunt. There's still a hook for Clockwork. There wasn't a whole lot expended by DK. I almost want to say just a... I don't want to say rage buyback. I guess he wanted to defend the tower mid, but that's a very costly buyback for Mushi. That's 400 gold away from his Blink. He is not going to farm that in the 20 or 30 seconds he would have been dead.
I mean, it's a very cheap buyback, but yeah, like you said, it's very, very expensive since you're saving for that 2150. But more importantly, a mid-game buyback is very important as well. I mean, last game we saw how many buyback there were in multiple team fights, right? It's a 6-minute cooldown. You might not have it for the next fight, but
that's actually true. It got, just to follow up what you said, it actually got, buyback got nerfed. It's got a, like you said, a 6-minute instead of a 5-minute cooldown now.
And that's a quote-unquote innate nerf to certain heroes that revolves around playing with buyback, like Spectre in this case. But I think the buyback, maybe, people are calling it rage buyback in the chat. It also prevented a tier 1 tower trade. Top tower for a mid tier 1 tower mid lane.
Maybe it's worth it when you look at that.
Dire definitely would really want to get that tier 1 tower for themselves. So.
And truth be told, Mushi, it did slow his farm down a bit, but now he's up to 1,600 gold. Not too bad from him. And like you said, the main thing will be if he dies again and can't buy back in a crucial moment. If he does, then maybe it's costly. But for the time being, they just come out on top. They do get the tier 1 top. They're not finding too many kills at this point, and I feel for DK, this is some good stabilization. But here comes Ohio. Phase drums online. He'll initiate. Who will he go on first? He doesn't even rage yet. He gets stunned. Now the Cog's there as well, holding everyone in position. Spectre haunts in. RTK joins the fray. Ohio trying to fight his way out of those Cogs. Will be able to escape, but DK get 2 quick picks off the back of a Spectre haunt. And, well, RNG Sports just feeling very confident in their team fight, but the Cogs were so disruptive there.
Yeah, Firefly being stolen by MMY, so he was able to just litter.
Oh, I totally missed that. I'm so sad.
Yeah, he actually just rides onto this little broomstick and
Yeah.
like a Grand Magus that he actually is.
He turns into a pretty badass character at that point. And for RNG Sports, where do they go from here? Do they just keep... Oh, they'll go in mid on Super. They've caught him out of position, and he'll get impaled. He'll get blown up. And that's going to be your Blink Dagger for Mushi. So 11.5 minutes in, picks up the Blink. Considering he bought back, and he's been moving around the map a lot, this is still a pretty fast Blink.
Yeah, and the fact that they kept the tier 1 tower because of that buyback, still relatively a good result of whatever has happened.
All things considered, Mushi's playing pretty well.
I mean, you gave up a team fight on the top lane, but I still feel like you're still actually ahead. Sure, they're powerful in their team fight, but Haunt is down for a minute, so I think if you want a tier 1 tower mid, it's yours. I really don't see DK defending that one. If DK takes a careless fight, for example, if RTK hooks in and decides to clog things up, he's probably going to die, and tier 2 might even be in jeopardy. But the Radiant playing very safe. Are they going to smoke up here? I think so.
I do want to mention for RNG Sports, they have Infest Bombs on their side. That's something we haven't really talked too much about, but they have the Blink Rider, the Blink on the Bat Rider, and then, of course, they have the Lifestealer Infested inside him. Now, he's not farming now, so they really need to make something happen, because otherwise that advantage they have will start to slip away a little bit here and there, but KYXY is farming mid, and Mushi trying to quickly Firefly, clear out the creeps, farm the jungle a bit, and, well, we'll see if he can make something happen with this Infest Bomb. That is the one downside. If you go for these ganks and you're spending too much time hunting, well, your Lifestealer doesn't get to farm, and that could cost you later.
Look at these wards. This one over here, and as well as this one that protected from burning twice in a row now. So, wards are doing a ton of work here for the Radiant.
And for Orange, they're going to look to force that fight, but now Haunt's up again for burning.
Yep.
It's going to be much harder, and He has gone for a dagger max. I know AUI, a big proponent of the Desolate max. I still don't mind the dagger, but we'll see how it works out here. Firefly cooling down. It'll be ready for Mushi now. Are they even going to need to use it? RNG Sports, tough little fight for them if they get caught under the tower, which they do. The cogs are there. The hook catches too. Ohio trapped in the cogs, but doing a good bit of work. Now Net charges in. They want to focus on somebody. Who are they going to go for? A little bit indecisive. KYXY gets blown up. 2 heroes hit the deck. Net might fall as well. They've got a sentry, but they don't have the range for the stun. Does it matter? Flame Breath's there. Down to 1 HP, and Net lives. This guy, he just walked through fire, hell, and brimstone.
Dagger? Oh my god.
Even the dagger narrowly missing. Net, he's paid off Ice Frog. $322 straight into the Frog's pocket for that one.
Well, but back in the mid lane, the tower is not going to be surviving at 1 HP. I think it will just go down, or will it? They're going to back off here, recognizing that everybody's going to be back alive. But how well did ROTK play that game? Or that team fight? He saw the Firefly coming in. He just hooked straight up right at the Batrider. He knew the Lifesteal was inside, but that cog meant, well, he trapped both people inside.
Bottom lane, they're going on Burning. The lasso's there. There's no haunt available. This would be a big kill, and they should be able to find it. Burning trying to find his way out of here under cover of just the phase boost, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He'll dagger up. He's low. The rocket's chasing in, and in the end, the dagger wears off at the wrong moment. Leaves the path, not able to walk up the cliff, and Super, well, he'll try to defend this tower mid, but now the good news for Orange is when Haunt's on cooldown, then they can fight, and Haunt's on cooldown again.
Yeah, but I mean, still big team fight victory for DK in the mid lane. RTK playing really well this game, but tower on the mid lane still eventually will go down here.
Yeah, RTK, as much as we like to tease him for his aggressive play, is often the savior for this team, and he's that playmaker, something that they've got a lot of solid kind of stable players in Super, QQQ, and Die, but often it's RTK who just says, guys, we're going to go fight now, we're going to win this fight, and then
he's definitely the Leroy Jenkins of the team, and sometimes he throws, but other times he make big plays. So
Leroy!
Yeah, RTK definitely very vocal when he plays as well, but looks like the rotation is going to come out from the mid lane to defend that tier 1 tower. I'm surprised that this tier 1 tower is still alive for DK. It's being sieged upon like 3 or 4 times now, and it's still looking good.
For RNG Sports, they now lead by about 4,000 gold, score 8-7. But we got to remember, Lumi, that 4,000 gold, 1,000 of it, 2,000 of it is towers, because they've taken the tier 1 mid or top and the tier 1 bottom as well. So when you remove the towers from the equation, DK are actually not very far behind at all.
Yeah,
and they've now got the familiars as well for QQQ, and actually has had them for a little bit, which is pretty big. Their supports need levels, and they've gotten them.
I mean, you got to remember how the game started, right? It was the first blood into a 5-0 lead on the top tri lane. Generally, the game just crumbles, right? And you have a Spectre that is so dependent on the mid tower. Oh,
Rage on the tower. It's still denied by RTK. He's also got a hook in 12 seconds time. There's your Spectre Haunt. They're really going to look to force this one out. Can they get in range? Will there be a reality in? There won't in the end. And meanwhile, Orange saying, thank God there's no haunt. Now maybe we can fight. There's an Infest bomb. The tower's taking some damage. There's your Blake. Lasso as well. Infest pop out from Ohio. The Rage has cooled down, and they're going to go to work here. How much hay can they make? RTK trapped in the cogs low. Goes down to a slave. Now Super. Next in line. Inside of the cogs net. He's under a sentry ward. He's going to die to QQQ. But the turnaround's there. All of a sudden a bloodbath. This one going slightly in favor of RNG Sports. They don't get the Spectre though. That's the big thing. Burning. Farming top.
Yeah, DK making a slight mistake there. They infest into the Batrider to allow the Lifestealer escape. And maybe they thought, all right, they escaped, so we could push the tier 1 tower. No, Mushi was hanging around. It's like, oh, all right, Firefly's still back up. Let's blink back into the initiate.
And what really made a mistake was no haunt. They used haunt. They didn't go in. This team needs haunt to fight.
Right, and when you use your haunt and you don't go in, your team backs off. You don't decide to push the tier 1 tower. It just doesn't work like that. Now Spectre, up to about 1,000 gold. Unfortunately for Spectre, because of how this game is going, I think he's forced to continue to buy HP items, so we might see a quick Vit booster, a value Vit booster.
I know the build that Havost has been going for, which I'm not sure how you feel about, is a very early plate mail. I think he gets the drums and then maybe just goes, or sorry, not plate mail, blade mail is what he actually goes for. I don't know if you want that this game though, because you're up against Lifestealer, and Rage means he won't take any damage from that, but we'll see what kind of build Burning goes for. We've also seen Sylar, when he plays the